A very good and warm evening to everyone assembled here. I am Shreya,
And I am Mamta.
executive members of Team Spec. We are your host for today's event. Mamta, this electrothon season has become the highlight of this month. We had a shed lot of interesting talks with the great visionaries and tech masters. And we all even had a chance to interact with them and share their experience.
Yes, Shreya, this time we explored almost every domain. Still, there is one tech that is left undiscussed blockchain. We have been hearing about blockchain, NFTs, and cryptos for so long. Blockchain has even merged with gaming to create superb interactive sessions. And also, we can earn money by playing and creating blockchain based games and by trading our NFTs there in the game.
Yes, but how one can start with blockchain? Why is it in so much hype these days? And how are we using NFTs in gaming? Guys, do all these questions come to your mind too? Are you someone who is trying to learn about this beautiful universe? If yes, then our team got you covered. We welcome everyone to the fifth interactive session of Electrothon 4.0, where we will get answers to all such questions with the founders of Doss.games.
Doss.games is a mobile Web3 based P2E blockchain gaming creator app created by gaming enthusiast team from IIT Roorkee. Mukul Sharma, Tanmay Joshi, Vishal Sharma, and Aniket Mathur. DOS is a blockchain game development platform where gamers can create and play games and earn tokens. So while Web3 becomes the talk of the town, gear up for a session by DOS game founders that would include technicalities of blockchain and interactive gaming. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you for coming, Tanmay Joshi.
Hey guys, hi. Uh, Good to be here. Thanks for that lovely introduction, by the way. And yeah, you guys are doing amazing job at the hackathon. So congrats on that as well. Uh,
Welcome Tanmay. I hope everything is groovy at DOS.
yeah, pretty groovy, pretty hackable, I guess. So yeah, we are just like kind of working. So
Before we start, I just have one simple question for you.
sure.
So, how did you stumble upon the field of blockchain gaming?
Yeah, so it was kind of, you can say, like a happy accident. So I was just like exploring different fields in while I was in my college, and kind of stumbled upon the, you can say, the Bitcoin and the research paper of Bitcoin. So yeah, that got me like really interested into all of those things, and I kind of started like learning all of those things for the past, I guess, like 2 3 years now. So yeah, so that has been like the journey. I've been like kind of understanding the crypto space, the blockchain space, the gaming space. So yeah, it has been a journey for us. So
Well, that's really great to hear. So now stage is all yours, and you can continue.
great. So I can share some slides. So I have basically kind of did a basic slide structure for all of the chat, kind of to tell them what exactly are the blockchain games, what is blockchain, what is Web3, and what can we kind of get out of it. So yeah, let's just start pretty quickly on that. So like I just wanted to understand, like, start with like what is Web3 in general, like what exactly uh, you can say, like what is web and what is Web3. So initially, like the Web 1.0 was basically kind of, you can say, like a static world. It was like a super interesting but a static world where like you can just communicate, and there was just like a very you can say, like the information layer was kind of being exponentially grown into out of proportion. So you could kind of get some informations, but there was nothing else to do on internet or on web. So that's where like the transition, like from Web 1.0 to kind of Web 2.0 occurred. And in Web 2.0, we basically started having like not only the static websites, but also like the interactions and like interactive websites. And social network and e-commerce and all of those things, where basically we like the major shift of the, you can say, the industry kind of came in the front end, and the front end was kind of get like was getting better and better day by day, and like for each and every app that you can imagine. So that's where like we in web 2.0 we basically understood the user experience side, and also like how to kind of use this amazing tool called internet, and were able to kind of get the most out of it, and we got some like trillion-dollar companies out of web 2.0. So that's where like the web 2.0 is like where we currently are right now, and we're in the shifting phase from web 2 to web 3. And so the web 3 basically kind of gives you the, in like one in a simple sentence, is kind of is not only like the interaction but also the ownership. So like not only you can kind of interact with all of your social networks and e-commerce and other businesses out there, but also the thing that you own is kind of on chain right now. So that's like the beauty of it. You like there cannot be, you can say, any kind of duplicacies or any kind of the ownership of the digital, you can say the digital assets is going to be what web3 is all about. So you cannot just like right click and save. Obviously you can, but it won't matter anymore. So that's where like we figured out. And like even in the economic like from the economics standpoint as well, in the web 1.0 there was majorly like the information economy, where you will like for example on Google, Wikipedia, and all of these like great companies came, and they established the information tech and IT out there. And on the web 2, majorly the standpoint of like the economic standpoint was from the platform side. So the platform, like for example Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of these major giants out there were like based out of platforms. So they would be like a kind of a creator as well as kind of like a kind of a consumer as well. So that's where like the web 2.0 was kind of flourishing and is still flourishing, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. As you can, like, as we also know, like the Wikipedia and Google and all of web 1.0 stuff is also like here right now. So it's not that like when web 3 arrives, or like web 3 whenever like we shift to web 3, it's going to kind of cut down the web 2 or the web 1 part. It's just going to be an additional layer for all of the humanity. So that's where like the web 3, the major economic standpoint comes from the token. So like right now what majorly token, like instead of being a part of a network, like for example Facebook, you can actually own that network as well with the help of a token. So that's what we have cracked in the blockchain side. And that's why like the web3 is like super exciting for the all the techies around the world, and obviously all the companies as well. So yeah, that's majorly it. Just like in a very simple, I really wanted to kind of dumb it down what exactly is a blockchain, and why what are the benefits and all. So like blockchain in just one sentence is like is a trust platform basically. So blockchain gives you a whole system where you don't have to trust any human being, and you can just trust the whole kind of platform. And the things that you do there will be kind of like all the things there are going to be the source of truth, and nobody can kind of change them in any which way. So like the past is immutable for the web3, so you cannot just unsend some things right away. And like the blockchain, like they are like the blockchain ecosystem is basically the transparent, and like it's open for all to see. So it's more towards like the open and kind of collaborative internet that you can imagine. So things like all the things like transactions, the ownerships, the media, all of these major chunks are going to be super transparent, who owns what and how exactly everything is kind of running, so that's where like the transparency and like the open internet concept is kind of flourishing, and that's why like blockchain is super powerful for us. So that's where like if you do something, it's going to be, it cannot like it will be like kind of seen by everyone who wants to see it in a way. And yeah, and obviously like the major, like the actual part, the consensus part is basically on the verification side. So like it is being verified by a decentralized network instead of like a centralized entity. So like for example Facebook, or like all these networks, social networks and all, or like Amazon. So these have a centralized networks which verify some stuff, right? So for example, Swiggy verifies that like this particular restaurant or like cafe is really good or something, or like it's a verified cafe. There is a cafe or something, but you have to kind of trust squeaky on that, like, and squeaky can anytime and any in any which way kind of scam you out of it. So you have to trust a entity in this, whereas like in blockchain you have to you will have to just trust the platform and the network. That's it. So that's why like the verification of a decentralized network is going to be like super. You can say like it is a core part of what blockchain is. So yeah, so like if you move like moving forward, like if you see the use cases of blockchain, it's very in like its early stages right now. So what like humans were doing in 1990s, trying to figure out what internet is, and like in early 2000 when trying to figure out what mobile actually is, so that's where like the stage of blockchain is right now. And so because like initially in 2000s people used to think that mobile is just like a fancy calculator, which it definitely isn't, right? So that's where like the blockchain stage is right now, and we have like several use cases which we have figured out and kind of build like multi-billion dollar companies and communities on that. But obviously it's a very nuisance state. So like people are kind of exploring new domains, new you can say new verticals, new industries, how to use this power of blockchain. So obviously some use cases such as like DeFi projects, decentralized finance projects, where like Bitcoin, like cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is also like a really great use case, where you can actually capture the value of an asset. That's what cryptocurrency is. And like DAOs and DOs is basically like kind of decentralized organizations. So if you think like all the org structures are also getting on blockchain, so that's a really great and you can say like a really exciting exciting industry to kind of look on. So like instead of having like a company structure or like or like a startup structure, instead of that you can have a DAO of yourself, and like instead of paying salaries and all, you can literally pay on tokens and like use the blockchain to its core, to its full potential basically. So DAOs and DOs are like really a great area of interest as well. NFTs, obviously, like it has been hyped in the last year so much. So non-fungible tokens, these are like the core state of truth. You can say you cannot fudge it, you cannot like manipulate it or in any which way, and it cannot be transferred. In so like that's where like NFTs are kind of really booming, because digital assets and like the you can say the ownership is really kind of getting its fair share as well. So that's where like NFTs are, and obviously blockchain gaming is, in my opinion, is like the most exciting is the most exciting industry to kind of look after on. And because like the gaming is one thing that everyone in their life kind of do, and it's kind of really centralized, it's really fragmented and centralized. Like these big companies kind of own everything on the data side, on the ownership side. And the gamers, even though like they really love playing those games, there's a whole set of trust out there. So like I have to trust Krafton for PUBG or like Epic Games for Fortnite to not shut them down, right? So there's a whole level of or a whole layer of trust that is being involved in this between like the gamers and the publishers. So that's why like blockchain gaming kind of encounters that kind of that problem, and it is really amazing for everyone. uh, uh, Moving forward, the next decade is for sure for the blockchain gaming part. Uh, so just a kind of again kind of a nuance thing of what exactly is blockchain gaming, right? So right now, what majorly what was happening till now was basically there were like developers, distributors, servers, and front end apps and all, which were being tightly coupled, and they were being served to players in exchange of money basically. So and obviously like players loved that virtual experiences. They were like obviously players love playing games and all. So that's where like we figured out that but the trust system between the players and the publishers is really high. You need to trust, like players need to trust everyone and in the ecosystem. That's where like the current gaming industry is right now. Moving forward on the blockchain part, what exactly is happening is Web3 will kind of include players as one of their stakeholders for like in the ecosystem, instead of just excluding and like just serving them the end game. They will be kind of an owners of that game as well, or like some set of assets or some kind of, you can say, levels are going to be there, which can be owned by players and developers, and they're going to be and the distribution part and the distributors, like for example Google Play Store or like App Store and all of these great big networks of distributors, they're going to slowly diminish, because obviously Web3 also kind of solve that network problem as well. So decentralization of all the distribution, as well as kind of including players inside the ecosystem of games, is what Web3 and blockchain gaming is going to do for the gaming industry basically. So yeah, so that's where like that's the core, you can say, the idea of what blockchain games are and what it's going to be. uh, so yeah, so like majorly current issues, if you see in the Web two space, these are like obviously you can like each and every point can have its own conversation and discussion to kind of look into it. But yeah, so like let me just quickly go through all of these, which might help you. Uh, so yeah, so right now the major part and major, you can say, the uh, problem lies in the virtual goods and virtual assets that you kind of own or like buy from the buy in game assets. So that's or like you kind of play and win those assets or something. So virtual goods are like a really big market for the game in gaming industry, as well as it's really kind of important for the players as well. So like the current issues are really on the, you can say, the virtual goods part, which can be tackled right away. So like for example, there are like the databases are like centralized, or you can say like all of your data, like what things you own, what are your levels, what powers do you have in a game, that has all being kind of centralized in a server of that particular publisher or game developer, right? So that's really kind of, you can say, it's kind of being owned by them and not by the players, even though players kind of worked hard enough to kind of got like to uh, get those assets. So that's where like the obviously the blockchain angle comes into the picture, that the whole databases are going to be decentralized, and the ownership is going to be of the player and not of the developers, especially for the virtual goods or the code that is being written for that particular thing. So that's one way to kind of tackle that, and blockchain kind of solves that really amazingly. The second is obviously the assets replication, and you can literally just like from the developer standpoint, like for example, if there is a super rare gun or something inside a game, the developer can literally kind of have millions of super rare guns, and like the players won't know, right? Because like they are just stating that to you and not to everyone. So that's one thing that we understand, that developers don't have that kind of transparency with their players. So asset replication for the developers is super easy, as well as it's really kind of a, you can say, a motivation for the players as well to play and kind of score and kind of win those assets. So that transparency is needed in that asset, super rare assets and asset replications. So that's also kind of is being solved by NFTs and the decentralized approach of the servers, of the databases. So which basically provides you like really high secure, and like it shows that you are the owner of that particular asset, and there are only, let's suppose, like X number of assets of this particular super rarity or something. So that's also like a really kind of is being solved by blockchain. Obviously, fragmented markets is really one thing that is a really big, you can say, pain point for the gamers, because, like for example, if you got some kind of super rare gun in Fortnite, you cannot use it in PUBG or like some other place. You can only use that particular game asset or that particular thing in just single game. That's it, or that particular ecosystem. So that's the fragmentation of markets, because there are so many games, and they have to kind of level up in each and every one of those games to kind of get their fair share and all. So that's fragmented market is really one big pain point, and so that is also being kind of solved by blockchain, by having a global liquidity, because like you can literally, when you own a particular share, you can literally just cash it out by selling it in a marketplace, or like kind of you can use the same particular asset in other games as well, as we move towards more interoperability of these assets. So that's also one thing. The no real ownership prospects is also a similar concept, in the way that in technicalities, like there is actually no real owner, even though inside a game you might be an owner of a particular asset or something, but that ownership is obviously kind of it's not kind of verified by everyone, and like PUBG can like tomorrow just shut it off right away. You would never know, and you have no control over that. So that's where like that's where like the ownership projects, obviously these great gaming NFTs that have been coming, launching and dropping, are like really you can say helping kind of having the right digital property rights for the players, and that's where like the blockchain gaming is booming right now. So this is like the one, obviously this is the entry point for majority of the games and majority of the developers to start getting new players, because they will have their real ownership of assets and all. So that's why the NFTs are kind of booming in the past 1 year. So obviously confined to a single ecosystem, same concept in the way that you just don't have that interoperability and cannot use your assets in some other place, and that is a really kind of a necessary thing for everyone to make it, you can say you need to kind of have that right away. So that's one, interoperability and composability needed, and it is kind of in the process, and like people like great minds are kind of working on these kind of projects, and kind of understanding and like researching on these projects as well. So yeah, that's majorly kind of, you can say, the major problems of Web2 ecosystem, especially for the games, and how blockchain is kind of solving all of these things right away. You don't have to kind of add like you just have to add like a single layer of blockchain, and everything can be solved right away. So that's why like blockchain is so powerful, especially for the gaming industry, because it provides value, and provides value for the players, and there's a fair share of revenue for everyone, and not like some single company kind of getting control of majority of the economy right away. So that's why blockchain gaming is really kind of, you can say, for the people. Obviously, for the player benefits, as we know rightly, having the rights, having the NFTs of those particular games, having the security that, like, even though the game shut down or something in the future, you will still own that particular asset forever, and it has been on chain, so everybody would know that you own that particular piece of asset. So that's also like a really important thing. Uh, Interoperability and composability is like one thing that is kind of the most difficult for us as techies to understand, and to kind of build a system around that, because it needs a standard protocol procedures for everyone, and to kind of able to give them those protocols, obviously there needs to be a mass community engagement on that level. So that's why interoperability is kind of, you can say, like the most difficult problem to solve, but it's like the most beneficial for the players and for the community of blockchain gaming. So that's why like that's why like like many projects are being built on this interoperability issue for the blockchain games. And so yeah, and obviously increased financialization, and having like financial alignment with the game economics is basically one really great and amazing thing that blockchain gives. It's basically, you can say, you would get real value if you start playing games. Like up until right now, we would not be able to kind of earn money and earn actual value, which we can kind of use in the real life by just playing games. So those economies, like those virtual economies of those games, were kind of just separated and fragmented, and like just in that particular closed ecosystem. But with the help of blockchain, you can actually play and earn. And so that's what is happening if you see in the US markets, or like in the Southeast Asia market, people are playing games and kind of getting US dollars, and able to kind of get like, fulfill their requirements and all. So that is like one really great and amazing thing that kind of blockchain gaming gives to the players, to have that financial stability, and kind of like incentives for players to play more games, and able to kind of uh, convert that particular, you can say, time into actual value for them. So that's one really amazing thing of blockchain games. For the developers, obviously, if you think about developers, there are like some great benefits, as well as some great challenges for the developers, of like the current game developers out there. Obviously, the unit economics kind of is really is better, far better than the normal free to play games. because when you have actual value kind of coming out of that particular game, players and people are going to pay you more, and there's going to be a better unit economics, and you don't have to have like you can say you don't have to pay more customer acquisition cost or something for the players out there to kind of get them into the ecosystem. And it's very easy for them, it's very easy for the players as well to kind of join the ecosystem right away, so that's also like a really great incentive for players to come on board and give you like more money, so developers kind of get more money. And obviously you're kind of cutting out the middlemen in between, cutting out the ad revenue, or like paying Google for the ads and all of that part. You're just cutting that down right away, and that's what is happening, so that is also helping developers to kind of monetize and have more creative, you can say creative space for their games. Obviously, and one like the fourth part where like capture value leakage to gray markets, it's more towards the AAA games. If you see AAA games, like for example, people who kind of own such kind of really amazing AAA games. So people actually, what happens is if you they're like in AAA games, basically players kind of trade their usernames and all into the gray market for some incentive. So like that particular gray market, all the transactions that are being happening in that particular area are being kind of cut off from the are basically kind of stealing from the developers. So that's exactly is also helping developers to get more better games, more monetization incentives for their players, and get a better community out of it. So yeah, so that's majorly, you can say, like the developer benefits. Obviously there are like way more benefits just like instead of these four, but obviously it needs certain more expertise for the developers. So this is for especially for the game developers out there. So current challenges in the blockchain game in the gaming industry and in blockchain in general, if you say, are like really amazing to solve. Like they're like really great problem statements out there, and like obviously the people are kind of solving and kind of uh, getting amazing solutions out there for these kind of challenges. But yeah, so like the main priority, if you see, is basically like a couple of things for the blockchain, especially for the blockchain games. It's basically high speed and low transaction fees. So that's one thing kind of a player or a developer wants. So they really want to, if they are having any kind of transaction, it needs to be super fast, because what UPI and Mastercard and Visa and all of these debit cards and all have done is basically ease up and speed up like the whole transaction process, which is not kind of was like not right now, but it was the case like a couple of years ago. And in the past 2 years, we have kind of solved the speed part. We have kind of like in the blockchain ecosystem, where we have really great blockchains, except for Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are kind of solving this, and they have solved really pretty well. So they have kind of surpassed the transaction per second of Visa. So the speed problem is kind of solved right away. Obviously, high volatile transaction fee, it is a kind of a you can say like an economic problem statement for to solve, and how to kind of create levers around the blockchain, so that people, like there's a standard kind of, you can say, transaction fee for every transaction happening. So right now it's pretty volatile depending on the you can say the volume and all the other factors, but we can cut them out, and people are kind of building different and great projects on these to kind of standardize the transaction fee for everyone, be it like a big transaction or a small transaction. uh, Environmental impact, many people, web2 people, and like many kind of experts are like really uh, concerned about this environmental impact, the kind of the blockchain that is impacting the environment, and the the you can say like the CO2 emissions and all being impacted by being done by these blockchain chains basically. So which is kind of was the case, because obviously it was like the first, you can say like the experiment, or like it was like the first generation of blockchains. Like Bitcoin is like generation one of blockchain, right? And it obviously had like really inefficiencies and all of that part. But If you see in today's in the 2020, after 2020 and all, if you see any kind of change or like any kind of projects, majority of the environmental impact is kind of negligible. It's kind of comparable to the Web 2.0 industries like Google. So each transaction is kind of uh, emitting less and less CO2 than like the Google search. So every Google search is kind of giving more CO2 out to the environment compared to the blockchain transactions happening now, especially after great research in the proof of stake and eliminating the proof of work and having the roll ups and zero knowledge proofs and all of these really great research papers out there. We were able to kind of convert those things into and controlling the impact that blockchain has on an environment. Uh, Obviously, high switching cost is one thing that is kind of a consumer behavior, because obviously initially, like even like the internet or like the mobile phones or even like the personal computers in 1970s and 80s, those were like they had the high switching cost barriers, and it took some time for them to kind of go to the masses. And that's what is going to happen in the next couple of years for blockchain as well. Like even if you look and observe in the past year as well, like people are getting aware, more and more aware of the blockchain and like the crypto space because of the trading and all of that part. But once they get once like now they're like aware of what blockchain is and cryptocurrencies are, and now they will be kind of exploring new domains of blockchain. So that like the high switching cost is obviously was the case in I guess 5 years ago or so, but not right now. So that's also like a really, you can say like it's in the process. So it's also a really great challenge for the new projects and new developers out there who wants to kind of understand what blockchain and contribute to the blockchain ecosystem. So specific to the blockchain games, limitation on game design is obviously one thing which we here at DOS are trying to solve, because currently if you see all the major blockchain games are kind of like trading games, trading card games, just like what we had in like the Pokemon cards and all of those different card games, and card games are being played right now in the gaming ecosystem of blockchain, which is like really boring and you can say not not that exciting at all. After a point, obviously, like it's exciting at the first, but like after some time, it's not that exciting. And obviously, they cannot, like the current games in the blockchain industry cannot compete with the AAA games, or like GTA 5 or Witchcraft and like all of these like great games, AAA games. We cannot compete on that, but obviously that's the challenge, and we are trying, like we had also the boss are trying to solve this problem really amazingly. So yeah. And the last part, the less control on game economics, they would obviously, as you open, like when you're creating a closed system for your games, obviously you can have any rules that you want to have in an economy, and you can give any kind of tokens or any kind of the rewards for the to the players, because it's all virtual and they don't have any significant or real value in the system, right? So you can create any kind of economies inside the game. But obviously after opening that system, after kind of making it blockchain based, you obviously open up your economies, and that's where you kind of lose a bit of a control. Obviously there are kind of workarounds on that, and there are like really great and like some great projects working on this particular problem. But this is a really great area of interest, and like great area of development for the developers if anyone wants to go. So so yeah, so that's like majorly the challenges. And that's, yeah, I guess I covered pretty much on the surface level of everything, Web3 and blockchain to everything else. So obviously each and every slide can have its own you can say courses and like lectures, but yeah, I really don't want to bore any of you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it. um,
Well, Tanmay, that was like really insightful session. I mean, you covered challenges, you told us how developers can do all this, and like you covered various aspects. And I hope हमारी audience को बहुत सारी चीजें clear होगी. But let me tell you, people here are really curious to know about blockchain and the things that can be done with it. So we also have some people from our team,
Sure.
right? They have questions from you. And other than that, I would like कि हमारी audience जो है, they can just ask their questions in the comment section, or they can do it in the live chat. So, well, starting, I have a question for you.
Sure.
All right. So, starting with the first question, like, since the NFTs are in so much hype these days, right? And I just want to know that how you are using, like, what are we actually doing in Doss.games with NFTs and what they are, and like how gaming and NFT, how are you linking both of these?
So we here at Doss.games are basically trying to build. If you obviously game developers know Unity development, right? So we are building a decentralized Unity for the game developers so that they can build their own games and like blockchain economies inside those games and all. So that's like one line synopsis of what we are doing here at DOS. On the NFT side, what we really figured out is basically we are using that to kind of first of all obviously to give the ownership of the assets like different guns, swords, laser beams, all of these things to the players out there. And apart from that, one really unique thing that we are doing is kind of adding the reputation NFT inside the ecosystem. So as like obviously like as gamers, like people really want to brag about their levels and like I am on level 55 in PUBG or something, or like I'm bronze or gold or something inside. So but that is also kind of centralized in all of these games, right? So we are also NFTizing those reputations, and so you can actually brag and kind of show it off to your friends if you want that this is true. I actually have this level, and it is being on because it's on chain. It's super kind of you can say it's the source of truth, so no one can change that you don't have that level. So that's where like we are using NFTs. Obviously, NFTs have a really great potential in the gaming industry, and we know that we are trying to understand as well, like as we move along, as we evolve as a journey of this project. So yeah, so that's majorly like right now we are using in these two aspects. So
And yeah, one side there is gaming and other side there is NFT, so you can definitely like understand as well as earn anything.
exactly.
Okay, so Tanmay, blockchain is such a huge domain, and there are so many things to learn. So, it's the how can we make blockchain understandable and usable for 90% of developers and invisible to end users?
I'm really sorry, I was not able to hear you. Can you just repeat the question, please?
How can we make blockchain understandable and usable for 99% of developers and
Yeah. So
invisible to its end users?
exactly. So that is like the main challenge because front end is not going to change. Like the screens, the UIs and all, they are going to be super same because obviously it's a back end revolution and not like the front end part. So we have like pioneered the front end part now, and we are trying like with the help of blockchain, we are kind of improving the back end, if you say so, right? So on the end consumers, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Apart from the assurity that this is on blockchain, that's more than enough for them to kind of gain that trust. So that's one thing. For the developers, obviously, we are seeing like really kind of spikes on the development domain as well. Like for example, people are trying to learn Rust or like Solidity and like different languages, obviously, to kind of how to kind of build a smart contract or build a particular application or anything like that, right? So it's being done there, and obviously we would need more development tools, developer centric blockchain tools for them to kind of test out, to kind of improvise on their like development and all, and which is being done right now. Like there are really great you can say projects like Bikeonomy, Mover, like from India only. Like these great projects are being kind of tackling that particular problem in a way. So that is going obviously awareness on the college in the universities is really important. Having blockchain clubs inside the universities where like people like use like the not users, sorry, the undergrads or the grads who really want to kind of get a glance of it, because there's nothing there's no like BTech in blockchain or something, right? So it's basically CS or the other industries, right? So there needs to be some kind of clubs giving them mentorship. There needs to be a mentorship program and all of that part. But obviously, it is going, and we here at DOS are kind of really kind of super bullish on that part. So we have already kind of collaborated with our IIT Roorkee in talks with NIT Hamirpur's director. Some great, you can say, like some great colleges. We're starting with some great colleges, kind of moving to kind of have our own blockchain club inside, so that we can make aware like the actual coders and the developers in the, at least in the Indian ecosystem. So yeah.
Okay, okay. So shortly we will going to invite you to organize a special session based on this.
Yeah, sure. I'm waiting for that.
Well,
Great.
one thing, Tanmay, you mentioned that there should be like clubs in like regarding blockchain in colleges, and I think it is quite relatable to like everybody present here because मैं personally बताऊं तो I had like मेरे को मैंने सुना हुआ था blockchain, crypto, NFTs. I had idea like I just had idea कि these words exist, but I didn't know what they are. So, as a beginner, if you have to suggest, like there are a lot of people out there who trying to explore blockchain. So, how one should like uh, start with this domain? What resources we can have?
So we can share like the DOS has a host kind of like a resource pool of ourselves as well. So we can share that for sure with the developers. And apart from that, obviously, great courses on like there are free videos on YouTube. Like everybody in the developer ecosystem start from like YouTube and Stack Overflow. Like these two things are like the way to go, right? So that's one really like obviously start kind of figuring that out. If you're interested in the research part, you can start reading, like start with the research paper of Bitcoin. Like understanding like the technicalities and all of that part. You can, there are like some really great Polygon is doing really great research work and kind of publishing it for the open source, right? So Polygon resources are really amazing for the ecosystem, because they have kind of solved like a couple of big problems in their own way, right? So and they have like the research papers on the zero knowledge proofs and zk rollups and all of these like great kind of necessities of blockchain. So yeah, so like starting from Polygon resources, you can start with obviously YouTube, start with the DOS resources as well. Obviously companies are kind of popping in every part of the country right now, so you know, like it's yeah, it can be. And obviously I would just suggest everyone to kind of get in, like into more conversations like these, you know, having like kind of attending different hackathons all over the place, going to these kind of talks, which where like you can get some kind of idea on what exactly is happening in the blockchain ecosystem. So yeah, and like people are kind of giving grants like crazy, you know, so 50K 100K dollars worth of grants are being given to the developers out there. So that's also like a really great idea. So
Okay.
All right. So
Tanmay,
now I think that our audience, I mean, they have a like start. They can begin from here. And thank you for telling. So, guys, are there? Yeah, Mamta, go ahead.
लाइक जब हम एनएफटीज के प्राइस देखते हैं, ये एनएफटी इतने बिलियन डॉलर्स में सेल हुई, लाइक व्हाट आर सो स्पेशल इन एनएफटीज? लाइक इट्स जस्ट अ पीस ऑफ आर्ट और डिजिटल ड्राइंग. So
yeah.
how can we create our own NFT or buy or sell NFTs?
Yeah, so that's a great question actually. So NFTs, if like as you rightly said, like it's just a piece of art, but sometimes the piece of art is really valuable, and
Like
so that's
it's
one.
like only a letter, digital letter sold for billions of dollars.
Exactly.
Like I was like, how this is even possible?
So what exactly is happening? So there are like two kind of sides to it. One is the speculative side, and one is like more towards like the having a utility side of it. So for example, if I own a Bored Ape NFT, so Bored Ape NFT is like the most crazy NFT out there, or like a crypto kitties NFT or something, right? So if I own these NFTs, I get some lifetime access to some yard parties, some access to like some Jason Derulo and all of these great actors. I can just video chat with them as well. So these, that's why NFTs are going crazy, because it gives you kind of these utility side. Uh, like like uh, people are doing like I guess like we recently shared Salman Khan and Amitabh Bachchan also had their NFTs dropped out. So which had a utility of a video call with Salman or something. So like people get crazy of that, right? So people are right now doing that. It's a kind of, you can say, a bloated market, you know, and It is going to kind of readjust itself. Like NFTs are not going to worth that much until unless it actually gives you an access to SpaceX shuttle going to the Mars or something. Until unless, I don't think that's like the that should be the market price in my opinion. And yeah, so that's majorly it. Getting backstage passes of Ariana Grande or something like that's crazy for people. So people buy it for really high prices. So that's what is happening right now. And obviously, it's a whole kind of a noise right now. It's going to settle down. Uh, there are going to be special and like really amazing piece of art and like really expensive NFTs out there, but it's not going to be that much, obviously. And they are just going to be kind of, you can say, like a token or a pass or something to get some kind of access on like to anything, be like for example, like this particular hackathon that you're conducting in Hamirpur. So you could have an NFT airdropped to all your contents, and like people would have bought that would only get access to this particular stream, right? So they're like really people are experimenting now, right now. People are getting like really crazy ideas and all. So like, get on a date with me if you buy an NFT or something. So people are getting crazy on that. So yeah, people are, yeah, but it's going to settle down for sure. It's not going to be that
Uh,
that $1 billion. So
I have a doubt, like little
sure,
doubt.
sure.
As NFT is in their growing stage, to like buying an NFT for so much amount, like is it risky? Like I want to buy NFT, so is it
Hmm.
risky if I spend so much amount?
Depends on. I'm not the right person to suggest any financial advice to any one of you guys, but depends what risky. People like, if 10,000 rupees is not risky for you, you can buy it and you can show it off to your friends. Get some really good access to Tanmay Bhatt backstage, or like SRK backstage or something, whatever feels good to you. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, what like so each and every NFT community has its own, you can say, a set of beliefs and like set of, you can say, utilities and like belief system and all of that part. So each and every NFT community is in itself a religion, basically. So like, because they have belief system, they have these, like, जैसे गीता में लिखा होता है वैसे लिखा होगा यहाँ पे भी कि this is going to be our things and all of that part. So that is like, if you actually believe in some NFT communities, like for example, some entrepreneurship cell community or something, which is really crazy for you guys. And also, so yeah, you can believe in that. You can buy NFTs of those, like not buying on the for the sake of it, or not buying just for the sake of market. If you actually believe in those NFTs, I would highly suggest to kind of buy those NFTs. But yeah, apart from that, obviously risky is, obviously, I'm not the right person to say about that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So Mamta, I think now we can have some questions from our audience.
I didn't.
So guys, drop your questions, queries, anything you want to ask Tanmay, and yeah, we'll be yeah. So our first question is, what language I have to start with to build blockchain games, and how to start in this field?
That's a great question, Ashmit, I guess. Yeah. So Solidity is like the best language to start with, and because Solidity is what is being used in Ethereum smart contracts as well as Polygon smart contracts. So Ethereum is a really, and obviously now Solidity has its a really vibrant developer ecosystem as well. So you will get all the resources, all the queries and FAQs and all of that part as well, for sure. So Solidity would be my go-to language for it. Obviously, Rust is there. Rust is for the Solana and like some other big blockchain, some big uh, blockchain ecosystems. But yeah, that would be our suggestion. Obviously, how to start in this field? Start with kind of building a Ludo game, you know, just like a Ludo game on website or something, and you have like really great tools on Bikonomy and Mover and all. So you can use those tools as well for the development purposes. And yeah, it's as simple as just like start coding right away. That's it. Just that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So, when we say assets are owned by player, or what does that mean as a player?
Okay, what does that mean as a player? So, as a player, basically the person who's kind of playing that game. So if I'm playing PUBG and I'm getting some level up and kind of getting some super rare skin or something of that particular gun or something, right? So getting a golden gun or something, just because I played well, or I kind of won a tournament or something. So even though it shows that it is mine in that particular game, but that game is owned by this company, right? This some other company like Crackdown or something, right? So technically they can kind of go into their servers and delete that Tanmay never, like, they can just say that Tanmay never owned this, he's just bluffing or something. So there needs to be a trust between the player uh, and the company to kind of okay, how many ye jeeti, like I won this particular gun, and that craft, like I have a trust on that crafton or like whatever the company is. So that's why like even though you think that you are like you have that ownership, but you actually don't, because it's being kind of controlled by that particular company. And once you own it on blockchain, it basically means that that particular code or like that metadata of that particular gun is stored on blockchain, on chain basically, so which will basically help you can say that no one, like even if the company shuts down tomorrow, that particular piece of code and that .jpeg file or whatever that is kind of owned by me, no matter what. So that's what we mean when we kind of like truly owned, like those assets are truly owned by a particular player. So
So it's like having some stuff in the virtual world, right? जिसको
exactly,
बोल सके कि हमारा है. All right.
exactly.
So our next question is from Yajvendra, and
Yeah.
he's asking, if I want to make a smart contract on the Ethereum network, how can I make it?
Okay, that's pretty simple. Get a crypto wallet first. Get some Ethereum in that, and start the development and inside the editor. And you can there are many you can say tools. One is zero one dot 01x.org, and like some couple of good open source development tools which can help them to kind of publish it on Ethereum network. Obviously there are two parts, one is the mainnet and one is the test net. So testnet is basically where you do all the testing of your particular, just like what we do on like locally, right? So whenever we build any kind of app, you are testing it on locally, and then you put it in the production server out there. So similar concept. So initially, obviously, start with testnets, and if we can just share some links, I'll just share some links of YouTube tutorials as well if people really want that. I have some good free videos for that, uh, which you can kind of like people like right now can, and Yajvindra, you can also look into it. And it's, yeah, so just like start with the testnet, start writing that code, publish it on testnet, then try, if you feel confident, you can publish it on the main net. Obviously it's going to take take some gas fee, so you need to kind of pay upfront some things. Yeah, if you are willing, if you want to put that smart contract on Ethereum network, because Ethereum is kind of really expensive. Ethereum is basically New York City of the blockchain, so it's going to be really expensive. Whereas like if you want, like you can obviously use Solana or Polygon, which are like you can say Hamirpur or some not that expensive cities, so whatever feels okay. But yeah, I'll just share some YouTube videos with you all as well. So
So basically, writing smart contract on Ethereum is like writing a code and then testing it.
exactly. So
Okay.
a smart contract is basically a piece of code only. It's nothing else. We just have fashioned it up basically. Kind of give it like a cool name, so it looks like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? So, but yeah, it's just
Basically,
a piece of code. Yeah,
contract shows like it's like form of paper
yeah,
written like.
yeah. That's what we do. We intimidate people because of all of these, but it's not that. It's just a piece of code which you can just publish it right away. So
So the next question from Samadip is: DOS has mobile-first approach for its deep penetration. Does the lower data and processor uses bandwidth in mobile phones limit to the functionalities in any way?
Uh, sure it does, but we have workarounds on that here at DOS. So we are using cloud gaming for now, and server side rendering and all of those optimizations, so that processor usage is like really light for the people. as well as like the and for the data it's similar to what PUBG consumes, right? So a PUBG or like any kind of action casual game consumes, so it's going to be exactly the same, because obviously we don't want to punish anyone to with like getting like 2 GB of data, or like burning the phone up or something. We don't want to do that. So we have taken care of that. It won't limit the functionalities. Obviously, there are some experience gaps in the editor in the creation side. So like some basic editor is on the mobile app, and some advanced level editing and advanced level game development. If you really want to do that, you obviously we would suggest to kind of have like go on a web app, like go on our web app, which is in progress right now. It's not published, but yeah. So yeah, the basic editor would be on the mobile, and like the you can say like the advanced editor would be on the web app, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But it's not going to take a toll on your processor or your data usage in any which way. What makes
All
DOS
right.
different from others? Okay, well, that's a very
No,
investor centric question. Great. So basically, no one is kind of doing that right now. Like as a game developer, you need to first understand how to make a game, and then you have to understand how to make a blockchain smart contract, and then you have to have both of those expertise, and then you need to know how to publish it on Google Play Store or something like all of that part. Then you need to understand how to give them, how to get bitcoins or whatever you want from them as players, like all of that part, how to mint an NFT inside a game, how to build an economy inside a game. So all of there are like multiple verticals where you need expertise to build a blockchain game right now. So we are easing up and smoothing that whole process. So you just need to have an idea that okay, I need to build a football game where we can shoot as well with guns. So that's pretty much it. You need to know that idea. You need to be super creative, and you can just publish right away without going into the you can say the nuances and like complex problems of blockchain or game development in a way. So
I
Tanvi,
mean,
like
it's simply
basically,
like
one thing,
yes.
you are saying DOS creates blockchain gaming. Stardust is also, I guess, a platform for blockchain gaming.
yeah.
So, like, what kind of
So
relation between DOS and Stardust? Are there any
so
relations between technologies used by both the companies?
Stardust, I haven't actually looked into it like very deeply, but I know that. But what we are doing is building a editor for the creators, and also a publishing layer for the players. So like for the players, you will just have like a single crypto wallet, which will own every NFT that you own inside the DOS ecosystem and all, and you will have multiple games to play. So basically, if you think about it, it's basically a kind of a super app of blockchain games. So like instead of going to Play Stores to get new games, you're going to like you can just come to just our app as a player and just have just single crypto wallet, single token, single NFTs, and kind of play like a million games out right away. So that's the vision, and we are trying like obviously we are improving day by day and working on it with our team. So yeah, so that's the pretty much it. It's not like a single game if you think about it. It's basically a super app of blockchain games for the players. So
Yeah, sure,
I think
continue.
this will for non-developers, this is going to be like a huge thing. I mean, going and creating a game on your own, hosting things, it's great. So we have our next question from Avinash, and he's asking, can I use Mario, or I don't know how to spell it, in GTA using a blockchain system?
Uh, most probably no, because GTA is not a blockchain game, and it's owned by Rockstar Games, right? So you cannot. That's the problem with all of these giants, right? You cannot do anything except what they want you to do, right? If they want you to play with that gun, you only have to do that. You cannot do anything else, right? So that's what is blockchain and an open ecosystem of games needs to be like. That's what our vision is as a player as well. you know that's what I want. I can just what Avinash right now asked, right? I should be able to use that, right? I can be a Mario in a GTA, but I cannot be. And that's what a web 2 game or like a non-blockchain game does to you. You cannot do that. So yeah.
Okay, so next question from Ashmit. As the metaverse technologies advance, one predicted issue is that human will become addicted to it, escaping from reality to the world of meta. How do you think company will deal with this?
Uh, it is already happening. We are actually kind of you can say escaping realities with games and social media and Instagram and Snapchat. So that's already happening. It's a human behavior. Like nothing can like we cannot do anything about it except for like because if we ask like 7 billion people to stop using social media, no one's gonna use. No one's gonna kind of say that. So yeah, so it's a and obviously like people think it as like a evil thing or something. I don't think that it's a very you can say like a powerful tool which can be used in a wrong way for sure, but it is a powerful tool. And obviously one thing on the metaverse side and metaverses and meta, I would suggest like the one thing where blockchain needs to be for sure is metaverse, because one thing is like if a single company kind of owns the whole metaverse and like people are actually kind of addicted to those things, uh, users and like humans are just going to be kind of in control of those that particular company, right? So that there's that, but I would obviously like the metaverse needs to be decentralized. It should be owned by the people, just how we own the earth right now. Everyone have their own chunk of land where they can live. They have that freedom and all, instead of just like you can say kind of a single company kind of getting or kind of owning all of the human side right away. But yeah, so that's where like blockchain would help. Blockchain would definitely help in kind of improving and getting better, like getting the metaverse out there. So yeah,
So, matlab, you mean to say like in future there is totally whole metaverse world. It's going to
can
be
be,
whole
can be,
metaverse.
yeah, can be like, but it is a possibility. I would not deny that. It's a very slight possibility, like because होने देंगे नहीं लोग, so वो तो पता ही है. So but yeah, there might be a slight possibility, and it's yeah, obviously what else
Okay.
we can say? Yeah,
So next question is from Yajvinder Sani.
okay.
Tanmay Bhatt is talking about Super Team DAO on Twitter.
Hmm.
So what
Hmm.
is this Super Team DAO?
Okay. I haven't met Tanmay Bhatt recently, but yeah. So super team DAO is basically, you can say it's a so DAO is basically decentralized autonomous organizations. So it's basically like a community of people who actually want to do something and get a whole community involved in it. So it's as simple as that. That's what DAO is. Tanmay Bhatt is building his own super team DAO, his own DAO basically, where he kind of gets smart minds into that ecosystem, into that community, and they can kind of have a kind of you can say shared ownership of that particular community. So what, like that's basically DAO. What DAO is, DAO में मतलब basic फंडा ये रहता है that like that's it's more like a democratic uh, Discord community, if you say, right? So like if I want to do something, I can just ask like my whole community, and like they can kind of go upvote or downvote, and it is all going to be on a blockchain or something. Some serious use cases on this is basically like, for example, if I'm kind of working for Google or like Microsoft or someone as an employee. What I can do is I can, like, instead of kind of hoping that my manager gives me a raise, like Microsoft can put a DAO inside, and if I do actually like work well in them, work well with them, the raise would automatically get increased, right? So it's more like it's more like you can say kind of the future of organizations, and Tanmay Bhatt is like really bullish on that. So yeah, and so are we as well. So yeah, so that's what it. I exactly don't know what Super Team DAO is, but what DAO is, that's what it is. So
All right.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't think we have any more questions now. Are there?
cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
So no, we don't have other questions. So
Okay.
thank you, Tanmay. That was like really amazing blockchain. I mean, at least we had an edge to start now. So this session was really great.
Thanks a lot.
Uh, okay, so thank you, Tanmay, for being here today and for such an insightful session. It was a pleasure having you here. We enjoyed your presentation a lot. Further, the Electrothon 4.0 deadline is just 24 hours away, so stay tuned, audience. Thank you for being such a great audience. Thank you, Tanmay.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. Thanks. See ya. Take care.